Can I just say one thing, if I may?
Yeah.
I mean, Paul, you know I love you. You're a good man.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
To make the claim, and I quote, the big banks were stabilizing influences during a crisis. They were the spreaders of the crisis. They were not a stabilizing influence of the crisis. And I know because they came to us to ask for protection. Goldman Sachs
there were many
banks,
as you all know, Richard, there were many banks that did
Paul
not
Saltzman.
need TARP funds. There were many banks that acquired failing institutions at the request of the government to stabilize the market, and frankly, no good deeds goes unpunished. If you read the newspaper these days, you know, and if we can get back to the point earlier, are you suggesting that we now have only domestic banks? And that not only do we have small banks, but we have only domestic banks because of cross-border resolution issues? Is that your position, Simon?
Paul, on the crisis that happened,
No,
one word, Paul, one word for you, Citigroup. Okay? Citigroup was at the center of the financial crisis. But why are we spending so much time, John, talking about the last crisis? We should be talking about the future. We should be talking about the next crisis. Too big to fail became a salient problem in the fall of 2008 because the banks said, they argued with some justification, we've become so big you cannot let us fail. That's when too big to fail really became the problem that we're now trying to confront. So what happened in the last crisis is interesting, no doubt. We can argue about it for a long time, but it's what happens going forward and how do we deal with the too big to fail institutions that we've created.
Let me put the question back to you that I put to the other side, which is if J.P. Morgan went down, would it bring the whole economy down with it?
Absolutely.